Road to Stanley, DJ Bean, Pete Blackburn. Hurricanes up 3-1 on the Devils in the series. Pete, why?
The Hurricanes have been dominant through 4 games, and the thing that's impressed me most has been the depth contributions, because the biggest question that I had coming into this series was, where are they going to get their goals from? Because the Devils have a pretty good defense, or at least they did during the regular season, and we've talked a lot at length about the Carolina Hurricanes and how they're missing some of their top scorers and how they don't have that high-end talent that kind of puts you over the top a lot of the times. But you look at what Carolina's done and the contributions that they've got up and down the lineup. I mean, Jordan Martinook is leading this team in scoring in this series at 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Then you've got Jordan Staal next up. Then you've got Jesper Fast, and you've got Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Like, they are getting contributions from guys that have been, I guess, criticized in the past for not bringing enough to the table. This playoff run, they're getting contributions up and down the lineup, and we already know about how good that defense is. But when you're hanging goals on the New Jersey Devils in bunches and you're doing it from top to bottom, that's the mark of a true Stanley Cup contender, and I've been impressed by the Canes' dominance to this point.
I gotta shout out the Hurricanes penalty kill. If the Bruins were still in the playoffs, maybe we talk about their season best penalty kill, but something happened there. Hurricanes number 2 on the season, and they have carried that into the playoffs, killing at a 93.1% clip, which is definitely tops, kind of by a mile. They've only allowed 2 power play goals to opponents this entire postseason, and when you consider they scored 2 shorties in Game 3 of this series, their penalty kill has scored as much as they've allowed, so shout out to them. Jacob Slavin, Brett Pesce, you mentioned Jordan Staal. Penalty kill has been huge for the Hurricanes. Meanwhile, the Stars, even their series with the Kraken, after a disappointing Game 3, they bounce back. Are they now in the driver's seat?
I would say, yeah. I mean, you look at what they did for the first 40 minutes of last night. They held the Kraken to essentially nothing, and it's not the first time we've seen that in this series. Yeah, it's bounced back and forth, and there hasn't been a lot of continuity in this series, but I think the larger sample leans towards Dallas being the better team, and not only were they pretty good defensively for 40 minutes last night, I look at their offense and sort of how they generated. They did it in a variety of ways, and I think that that's really impressive, and that's the mark of a team that can thrive over the course of a long playoff run, because you can't just do it the same exact way. Teams will adapt. They will play to your strengths and try to take them away. But you look at how Dallas got their offense last night. I mean, they got a few goals off the rush. They established net front presence and created some chaos in front of the Kraken net. They're just a team that can kind of do it in a variety of ways. And maybe most importantly, Jake Oettinger was back to being good in Game 4, and they obviously need Jake Oettinger to be the game changer that we know he can be. He had a really rough Game 3, but a really nice bounce back win in Game 4, especially in that third period when the Kraken were pushing. He made a couple of gigantic saves that kind of kept them from being within arm's length. So a big overall team win from the Dallas Stars in Game 4.
Stars are for sure the better team than the Kraken, but this thing's going 7. I mean, we saw Game 2 how steady, top to bottom, the Stars were not allowing anything. We saw a little bit more of that in Game 4, but the Kraken just don't go away. Even in this game, they made it interesting late when it looked like this was going to be a blowout. This is an annoying Kraken team. They're not going to go away. So even if I do still like the Stars to win this series, I think this is going the distance. Who's your Stanley standout?
I'm going to stick with that game. I'm going to say my Stanley standout is Miro Heiskanen. We didn't even know if he was going to play in Game 4 after he took that puck to the face. And he showed up to the arena with basically a watermelon-sized cheek. With it cut completely open. Looked like he was harvesting nuts for the winter in that cheek. Not only does he play, he plays 31 minutes. 31 minutes in that game, and he's one of the Stars' most important defensemen. So very good to see Miro Heiskanen not only back, but kind of thriving in Game 4.
Brett Pesce logging a ton of minutes for the Hurricanes, had 30 points all regular season. He's got 4 in the last 4 games, 2 last night, a goal and an assist. University of New Hampshire legend getting it done for the Hurricanes. The Panthers can finish off the Leafs tonight with a sweep. Do they do it?
I hope so. It'd be very funny.
I think it might be funnier if the Leafs feel like they have a chance in this, but I don't think the Leafs have a chance in this. Maybe they'll get a game or two off them, but Panthers, we know it. They're making a deep run. All right, that's Pete Blackburn, DJP, and this has been the Road to Stanley.